begin by saying that it has become the mannerism of Amnesty International to put out reports that tend to disparage and portray the armed forces of Nigeria in bad light, particularly with regards to our operations against terrorism and insurgency in the northeast theater of the country. And this is one of such falsified reports alleging that our troops who are conducting operations in the northeast are raising down, are employing unlawful tactics according to them, and raising down communities and villages and carrying out unlawful detention. I want to make it very categorically clear that troops of the armed forces of Nigeria who are conducting the operations against Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West Africa in the northeast theater of operation do not employ the use of arson as an operational tactics in the conduct of their operations. It is a well-known and established fact that the terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West Africa, carry out raising down of villages, communities, loot communities, and destroy infrastructures. This is a well-established fact over the years. So it's unfathomable. It beats one's imagination that Amnesty International is engaging in this kind of what would I call it, as undescribable allegation against the armed forces of Nigeria, given the fact that we have a pedigree over the years, and the terrorists also have a pedigree over the years. Terrorists have been known for burning down villages, for looting villages. They have been known for destroying infrastructures while we rebuild those infrastructures, while we reconstruct and reintegrate the people, rehabilitate the people through our various outreaches, medical outreaches, and humanitarian projects. So it is unbecoming for Amnesty International to want to disparage the armed forces of Nigeria, our troops in the northeast, and with those claims of raising down villages and unlawful detention. And again, I want to also put it across and make it very clear that no one is illegitimately detained in the conduct of our operations. We have a group of professionals, and whatever intelligence we are doing is based on actionable intelligence before arrests are made. And those that are apprehended or that are taken into custody are those that have been found to, in one way or the other, tacitly or openly, providing support for the terrorists, either by providing information, by providing logistics, and other forms of support to the terrorists. These are the people that we apprehend, put in custody, interrogate them or interview them, so to speak, investigate them properly. They're subjected to thorough investigation. And those that are not found culpable are released immediately. And these investigations are conducted by professionals that are drawn from the intelligence community in the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the Department of State Security, the Nigerian Police Force, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Correctional Service. So it's an established fact that we do not, as a professional armed forces, engage or employ the use of arson as a tactic in fact fighting the terrorists in the northeast. The fact I want to establish here today is that it is not against international law of conflict. It is not a war crime to evacuate civilians that are caught in the line of fire during combat. It is not against any international law of conflict. Our troops should rather be commended for evacuating civilians who are caught in the line of fire during combat. And what they have done is to do what? Is to ensure that there is no collateral damage in the course of the combat. Civilians are helpless during combat. We are a bit careful, we are more careful, we are more sensitive to the plight of the civilian in conflict. Therefore, we ensure that they are protected. So if we evacuate civilians who are caught in the line of fire during combat, I think we should be commended for it, rather than allegations being trumped against us. I have told you that we do not employ arson as a tactic. It's not done. It's not part of our. We are guided by our rules of engagement, codes of conduct, and by international best practice, global practice. We have found out, we have found out severally, it's established, the terrorist has a pedigree of putting on our uniform to commit these atrocities. Even the one that happened recently, they were in uniform. The abductions, they did them in uniform. The illegal checkpoints that they established were done in military uniform. I think we need to understand these facts. And if we have a thorough understanding of what's happening in the Northeast Theater of Operation, I think we will make good progress. Based on this report, investigations have been activated. Before I started talking to you, I got across to the theater of operation. I've spoken to those who are in authority in the theater of operation. So I'm not speaking from the blues. As we speak, you know that the authorities of the army are in the theater of operation as we speak at the moment. Amnesty International must put an end to its constant attack, irresponsible attack on the armed forces of Nigeria, particularly in the course of the conduct of our operations against the terrorism and insurgency in that part of the country. We have put in place efforts to promote human rights and to protect human rights in the conduct of our operations. I just told you about the rules of engagement that are in place, constantly reviewed. I told you about the codes of conduct, operational code of conduct for the troops. We have induction training. Before we induct our troops, we expose them to these human rights protections and civilian protection in conflict. We've also established, it's a known fact that Boko Haram adorns military uniforms to conduct its atrocious activities. This is a propaganda aimed at disparaging the armed forces of Nigeria. We must be very conscious of this, please. I have told you that the military does not engage or employ the arson as a tactic of operation. When we conduct our offensives, what we do is to take the offensives to the hideout of the terrorists, to the enclave of the terrorists, where they are hibernating. It is the terrorists that engages soft targets, that attacks the civilian communities, that loot those communities, that raise down those communities. This is an established fact.